Legend of Total War here, and today we're going to be going over a few things, but the first thing we're going to be going over is just a couple of things from the patch notes from the other day. So there's a hotfix that came out, 5.2.3. I usually don't really worry about covering patch notes unless there's something really meaty in there. But this one I thought was very fitting because we had an ambush battle where Archaon ran off the battlefield, and then literally that night these patch notes came in. And so this one here says, the AI-controlled Lord will no longer withdraw when ambushed if it has a good chance of winning. Now, if you watched that video about you suck at Skaven, we ambushed Archaon, and he just ran off the battlefield, his entire army. We didn't have to fight him at all, and he wiped himself out because he had already been defeated. He'd already withdrawn once before. So people saw this patch note and assumed that Creative Assembly was watching my videos, and that was the reason for this patch. Now, in my opinion, this was probably planned before that video. I didn't know that this was going to be in the patch notes. I didn't make that video in anticipation of that. I think it was just a coincidence, simply because it is likely that these changes would have been already planned well before it was actually implemented, because it would take them more than 5 minutes to fix something like that. Now, in addition to that, there were some really interesting comments which I want to point out here. I'm not trying to shame anyone for doing this. I just think it's funny, because what we're going to do here is we're going to test to see if that still works. So we've got a couple of choice ones here. I might use it in the thumbnail. Pretty sure that devs working on the patches watch Legend. I'm pretty sure they watch all the YouTubers, but I don't think, like I said, I don't think that this particular decision was based off of that video. The timing is just too coincidental, basically. Dev saw your vid in Archaon Ambush Suicide and fixed it this patch. Little funny. 185 upvotes. And then literally they just patched this approach with this hotfix. Haha. CA really watches Legends video. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Warhammer 3. We can see here, I've updated the game, patch 5.2.3. So I'm on the latest hotfix. And we're going to load up the save file for that particular ambush from the other day. And we're going to do it again, because that was easy to replicate. And I've got it already set up to do the ambush. And we're going to see if anything changes. Pretty easy thing to test. You know, a lot of people, they will sort of jump to conclusion straight away, you know, reading the patch notes. But here's the thing that I have found, is that just because something is said in the patch notes doesn't always reflect reality. Like, usually when it comes to stat changes, it's fine, you can rely on that. But when they say, we have improved the AI, did you? Did you though? Okay, so let's have a look. So as you can see here, this is the exact same setup that we had for that particular video. I already skipped the other ambush wiping out his other army. So he's already withdrawn once before. And we've got a valiant defeat here in auto-resolve. So the balance of power is in his favor. And we're going to fight this manually. I'm not going to cut out any of the load screens, so this video is not edited in any way. You know. So there's plenty of places we can hide, and we'll just monitor what Archaon does. That's all we want to do here. Pretty funny. Like, I didn't really think I'd be making 2 videos on the same battle. But, you know, it's interesting because of the patch notes. Very, very coincidental timing. And I don't think Creative Assembly planned it that way. I think it was just a massive coincidence. Like I said, I do not think that Creative Assembly made that decision just because they watched that video and were like, oh no, we can't let Legend cheese us anymore. I think that this has been planned for a while. So what we're going to do is just hide everyone behind here. They should all be hidden. I know it's not exactly what I did before, but we'll just put a single guy in here, just so that we don't have line of sight obstructors, so we can watch and see what happens. Okay, we're going to put our reinforcements over to here. And Archaon, take it away. So at this stage here, when he can't see anything, he is just going to keep walking until the battle actually activates. And then we'll see whether or not he decides to withdraw from the battlefield or sets up a battle line and prepares to defend himself. Now, as I said before, at this point here, he has already withdrawn from one battle, which means if he withdraws again, his entire army gets wiped out. Now, another thing to note, what the patch notes were saying, right? The AI-controlled Lord will no longer withdraw when ambushed if it has a good chance of winning. Now, one thing that they really should be focusing on is the AI-controlled army should not withdraw if they will get wiped out by losing the battle. So, instances where they've been caught in forced march and ambushed, they should not withdraw. Because even if they're going to lose, they might as well stand and fight. And instances where they have already withdrawn before, they should stand and fight. Because them withdrawing off the battlefield is only going to deny me experience, but it's also going to stop me from losing a lot of troops. Speed this up a little bit. And this has been an issue since day one of Total War Warhammer 3. So we can hear here that the balance of power is actually in his favor at the moment, but he may be taking into consideration the huge amount of reinforcements that I've got. I'm delaying them at the moment because that's what I did in the previous video. Okay, so they've activated, and oh, here he goes. He's running to prove the patch notes wrong. Oh, what's that? Creative Assembly's patch notes are wrong. That's never happened before. Archaon running for his life. Ba-bow. Well. Well. AI-controlled Lord will no longer withdraw when ambushed if it has a good chance of winning. I fixed it this patch. Sorry, I'm not trying to have a go at you. I mean, you just went off the patch notes. Fair enough. It's not your fault. But yeah, this morning I was like, you know what? Let's just check out if it still works. And yep. Cool. I mean, this indicates to me that they didn't watch this video because they didn't patch out this approach. Yep. Cool. Good job, guys. Good job. Fantastic. Literally the exact same response that we had in the other day. Literally the same. And even exactly the fucking same because that guy didn't withdraw from the battlefield either. And then I just do this or something? I don't know. You can have these come in now over here. Also, another thing, people were saying about in the previous video about the Thunder Barges that the casualties that I took were the summons. The summons never count towards your casualties in the load up screen, by the way, which we'll prove here because I'm going to take hundreds, and what it takes into consideration is how many units you start off with and how many units you're ending the battle with. So when it came to the Thunder Barges, I think they're technically a single entity, but they're also counted as a multi-entity unit. So as they lose hit points, they count that as losing casualties. And once again, they take 25 casualties. Didn't they inflict 13 casualties on them last time? Doesn't matter. So we load it up, and you'll see that this army will get wiped out, despite the fact that, you know, he withdrew off the battlefield thinking he was going to save himself. Like I said, exact same situation. Okay, then the next thing to cover, just real briefly, is the video from Total War Warhammer 3 dev chat on 6.0 and interim patches. What's next? So I watched through the video. It's cool stuff. I don't really want to make a dedicated video to this or make like a reaction video to it. But there's a couple of interesting things in here that I want to just briefly mention and then just move on from it. But the bulk of what I want to talk about today, I've already done. So they're talking about some of the content. That's great. There's 2 legendary heroes coming for this patch for Khorne. That's great. I mean, previously we've only had 1 legendary hero, I guess, in the Thrones of Decay for each of the lords. With the exception of Shadows of Change, but we got a FLC hero instead of a lord. But we're also getting an FLC lord for the Khorne one. So in many ways, Creative Assembly seem to be upping the amount of content in terms of characters in each subsequent DLC, which is definitely good. Definitely would encourage that. The next thing is that they mentioned was the focus on racial reworks. A lot of people have been asking for a Bretonia rework, and it is definitely something that they have got in mind. So what I want to be doing over the next few weeks, I suppose, is when I'm live streaming, let's like as a community brainstorm ideas for Bretonia reworks and just talk about it, because they've said that they listen to the stuff, and I'm not saying that they're definitely going to act on everything that we say, but sometimes you guys come up with really good ideas for Bretonia, for just general reworks. I mean, we spoke about the deeps mechanic, and they ended up implementing it. Now, I'm not saying that we're the reason that we got the deeps mechanic, but you never know. So let's talk about the possible Bretonia reworks. Maybe they'll listen, and maybe it might influence their decision so that it makes the Bretonia rework, when it does happen, more interesting. And there's always a possibility that they're just straight up going to ignore it anyway, but there's no harm in, just us discussing it as a community, what you want with the Bretonia rework. Because I definitely want a Bretonia rework as well. I used to really enjoy Bretonia, and they've really fallen off in Warhammer 3 quite significantly. So I'm really looking forward to that. But then overall, I don't really have anything else to say about this. It all seems like good stuff. The DLC should be coming out in about 2 months, I guess. I don't really have a good timeline on when it's potentially coming. I've heard late November, early December, but really these things are just speculative. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Just wanted to really point out that patch note stuff because it was hilarious. And thanks for all the funny comments. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.